The sun dipped low over the Alabama hills, painting the sky in soft orange and gold. Maya Brooks stood on her porch, a cup of coffee in her hand and her loyal German shepherd, Duke, resting by her side. The sound of crickets filled the air as the scent of soil and pine wrapped around her like home. For the first time in years, she felt peace. After 20 years serving as a Marine sniper, Maya had traded gunfire for crops. Her land stretched across 15 acres, cornfields, apple trees, and a red barn her late father built by hand. She had spent the last 5 years rebuilding her life after losing her husband in a car accident. The farm wasn't just soil and wood, it was her therapy. But that peace was fragile. Lately, Maya had noticed strange tire tracks along the dirt road, empty beer cans near her fence. Once, she'd found one of her cows shot dead for sport. Sheriff Daniels, her old friend, had warned her about a local gang. The vultures. They'd been terrorizing small towns nearby, stealing equipment, breaking into stores, and setting fires. "They won't come this far," she told him, brushing it off. "I'm just a farmer, not a threat." But that night, as Duke's ears perked up and a distant rumble echoed down the gravel road, her instincts stirred, the same instincts that once kept her alive overseas. Maya set down her mug and reached for the rifle mounted above her fireplace. It wasn't her military-grade M40A5, just an old hunting gun, but it still carried weight and memories. Through the window, she saw headlights flicker through the trees. 3 trucks, loud music, laughter that didn't belong here. Her pulse quickened. "Maya Brooks," she whispered to herself, steadying her breath. "You faced worse." The trucks screeched to a stop at the edge of her field. Doors slammed, shadows moved. 5, maybe 6 men, loud and cocky. One swung a baseball bat against her fence post, splintering the wood. Another fired a shot into the air, laughing. "Hey lady," a voice shouted. "Heard you got some nice stuff in that barn." Maya's eyes narrowed. They didn't know who she was. They didn't know this land had been defended before. Only then, the enemies wore uniforms. She turned off the porch light, crouched low, and moved silently across the yard. Duke followed, growling low. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from the flood of old memories she'd buried deep. She didn't want violence. Not again. But the sound of a gas can being kicked over made her blood run cold. Then came the smell of gasoline. Maya froze. Her barn, the one with her father's tools, her late husband's truck, was about to burn. And something inside her snapped. The sniper wasn't gone. She'd just been sleeping. Flames rose into the night sky, licking the wooden walls of the barn like a living monster. The crackle of fire mixed with the drunken laughter of the men outside. Maya's eyes reflected the orange glow. Her sanctuary was burning. Her grip tightened around the rifle. The scent of smoke mixed with rage in her chest. She crouched behind the chicken coop, Duke beside her, his growl low and steady. "Easy, boy," she whispered. "We do this smart." The leader of the gang, a tall man with greasy blonde hair and a snake tattoo curling around his neck, strutted toward the barn. His name was Colt Mercer. She remembered that name from the sheriff's warnings. Colt liked power, liked to humiliate his victims before taking what he wanted. He kicked open the barn door and shouted, "This your little farm, lady? Thought we'd give you some fireworks tonight." His buddies laughed, hooting as flames danced behind him. Maya's jaw clenched. Every second felt like a pulse between her temples. Her training whispered to her, "Breathe, aim, exhale, she adjusted her scope and lined up the crosshairs. She wasn't going to kill, not yet, but she needed to send a message. The rifle cracked. The bullet whizzed past Colt's ear and slammed into the metal gas can beside him, making it explode in a burst of sparks. The men dove for cover, shouting curses. "Sniper! Someone's shooting!" Colt yelled high. "Find her!" Now, they scattered, running for the tree line. Maya moved fast and quiet, looping through the shadows. Duke stayed close, responding to every hand signal like the soldier he was trained to be. She took a deep breath, counting her rounds. 5 left. That was enough. A young thug with a shotgun crept around the corner of her farmhouse, his flashlight slicing through the dark. Maya crouched low, then slammed the butt of her rifle into his knee. He screamed, dropping his weapon. Before he could recover, she grabbed him by the collar. "Tell me, boy," she hissed, her voice cold as steel. "Who sent you here?" He choked out. "Colt," he said. "He said there's cash in the barn. We didn't know." Maya shoved him to the ground. "You picked the wrong farm." Another gunshot rang out from behind her. The bullet hit the side of the water tank, spraying mist into the air. She rolled behind a haystack, heart pounding, and returned fire. The shot hit a truck tire, sending it bursting. The chaos worked in her favor. The men were drunk, sloppy, untrained, but cold. He was different. His shots were deliberate, controlled. He yelled into the night, "Who the hell are you, lady? Some ex-cop?" Maya stayed silent. He grinned through the shadows. "You're gonna regret pulling that trigger." Then, to her horror, Colt tossed something into the air. Her husband's truck keys, glinting in the firelight, before shooting around straight through the windshield. The vehicle exploded, the flames spreading across the dirt. Maya's breath hitched. That truck had been her last memory of him. The rifle slipped slightly in her trembling hands. For the first time, her eyes welled with tears, and then they hardened. "All right, Colt," she whispered, wiping her face. "You want a war? You just got one." The night was thick with smoke and vengeance. The fire that once devoured Maya's barn now cast long, flickering shadows across her land. The same land her family built with sweat and love. The gang thought they could destroy it and walk away. They didn't know they'd just awakened a storm. Maya crouched by the old water tower, reloading her rifle. Duke sat beside her, his ears perked, waiting for her command. Her mind shifted into mission mode. Calm, focused, deadly. The fear was gone. In its place lived something colder. Purpose. "Duke," she whispered, pointing toward the tree line. "Flank left. Flush him out." He bolted into the darkness, silent as a ghost. From the distance, she heard one of the gang members curse. "Damn dog's back! Shoot it!" The sound of a shotgun echoed. Then a yelp. Maya's heart stopped. For a second, the soldier in her cracked, and the woman in her screamed, but then Duke barked again. Strong, alive. Relief surged through her chest. That bark was her signal. Target in sight. Through her scope, she spotted a thug creeping near the fence line, clutching a flashlight and pistol. His name, she remembered, was Travis, the youngest of Colt's crew. He was shaking. Maya exhaled and pulled the trigger. The shot hit the dirt near his feet, sending him sprawling. Before he could run, she stepped out of the shadows, gun raised. "Drop it," she commanded. He froze, terror in his eyes. "Please, I didn't want to do this. Colt made us." "Where is he?" "Down by the creek," he said. "We burn it all and go." Maya's jaw clenched. "Wrong plan." She knocked him out cold with the butt of her rifle. No more mercy. Not tonight. Down by the creek, Colt and two of his men were refueling their trucks. She moved through the tall grass, silent as the wind. Each step calculated, every breath controlled. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. Never aim unless you mean it. She aimed. The first shot shattered a truck's headlight. The second blew out its tires. Panic erupted. Colt's men dove for cover, screaming. "Where the hell is she?" one yelled. "She's everywhere," another cried. Colt spun around, fury in his eyes. "You think you can scare me, lady? You ain't the first to try." Maya's voice carried from the darkness. "No, Colt. But I'll be the last." He fired blindly into the trees, bullets snapping branches, sparks flying. She ducked and rolled, returning fire. One of his men went down, clutching his leg. Colt cursed and ran toward his truck, trying to start it. But the engine coughed and died. Maya had cut the fuel line earlier. She stepped into the open, rifle steady, the firelight glowing behind her like a halo of vengeance. Colt's face twisted when he finally saw her. A middle-aged black woman, calm and unshaken. "This your fight?" he sneered. "Over some damn barn?" "No," Maya said, voice trembling with restrained rage. "This is for every inch of peace you tried to steal." She fired. The bullet grazed his shoulder, spinning him to the ground. Colt howled in pain, clutching the wound. "You'll pay for this." Maya's eyes narrowed. "You already are." The forest went silent. Just crackling fire, gun smoke, and the heavy beat of her heart. The hunt had just begun. The moon hung low and red in the smoky sky. A blood moon, glowing like an omen. The fire from Maya's barn had died down, leaving smoldering ashes and silence. But the battle wasn't over. Not yet. Colt was wounded, furious, and unpredictable. The worst kind of man. He had two men left, both armed, both desperate. Maya knew he wouldn't retreat. He'd come for revenge. And that was exactly what she wanted. She moved quickly, working by moonlight. Years of training came back like muscle memory. She set tripwires across the north fence, planted noise traps using tin cans and nails, and camouflaged her old hunting blind with fresh brush. "This ends tonight," she whispered to herself. Duke trotted beside her, tail low but alert. She knelt and rubbed his head. "Stay quiet, boy. If I go down, you run to the sheriff. You hear me?" He whimpered softly but obeyed, fading into the shadows. Down by the creek, Colt was pacing, his blood-stained shirt clinging to his chest. "She's playing games," he snarled, throwing a bottle into the water. "You see her yet?" No, boss," one of his men stammered. "She's like a ghost out here." Colt grabbed him by the collar. "Then find the damn ghost." Maya watched through her scope, patient and still. The first man stepped over the fence. Snap! The tripwire yanked a rope, and a loose board swung down, cracking him across the face. He went down screaming. The second man rushed forward. She fired once, hitting the ground near his boots. He froze, terrified, hands raised. "Don't shoot," he yelled. "Then drop your weapon and crawl away," Maya said coldly through the dark. He obeyed, sobbing, limping back toward the road. She let him live. She wasn't a killer, not anymore. But Colt, he was a different story. A twig snapped behind her. Maya turned, rifle up. Too late. Colt charged from the shadows, slamming her to the ground. The gun flew from her hands. "You think you're tough?" he growled, pinning her down. "You think you can scare me with your little tricks?" Maya struggled, punching and clawing. But he was stronger. His hands wrapped around her throat. Her vision blurred. Then, Duke. The dog lunged from the darkness, sinking his teeth into Colt's arm. Colt screamed, releasing her. Maya rolled away, gasping for air, and reached for her sidearm. She aimed it at Colt's chest. "That's enough." He laughed, pleading but defiant. "Go ahead, soldier. Do it. You think killing me'll bring your husband back?" Her finger trembled on the trigger. The mention of her husband hit like a knife. For a second, her breath faltered. Colt saw the hesitation and lunged again. The gun fired. Colt fell backward, eyes wide, collapsing into the dirt. The echo of the shot hung heavy in the night. Maya stood over him, chest heaving, her face wet with tears and sweat. "No," she whispered, "but it'll stop you from taking someone else's." The blood moon glowed brighter above them, casting red light on the fallen man. Duke limped to her side, pressing his head against her leg. She knelt beside him, hugging him tight. "It's over, boy," she whispered, her voice breaking. "It's finally over." But deep inside, she knew it wasn't. Not until the sheriff arrived, not until justice was seen. And Maya Brooks, the farmer, the widow, the sniper, was ready to face that dawn. The first hint of dawn crept across the Alabama sky, painting the smoke-filled horizon in pale pink and gray. The long, brutal night was finally ending. The gunfire, the screams, the fire. All had faded into an eerie calm. Only the quiet hum of crickets and the smell of burnt wood remained. Maya stood in the middle of her field, her rifle slung across her shoulder, Duke at her side. Her body ached from bruises and exhaustion, but she refused to sit down. She stared at Colt's body lying motionless near the creek. The man who thought her peace was weakness. He'd learned too late that even a peaceful woman can become a storm when pushed too far. Red and blue lights flickered in the distance. Sheriff Daniel's cruiser rumbled up the dirt road, kicking dust into the rising sun. When he stepped out and saw the scene, the wrecked trucks, the smoke, the blood, his face fell in disbelief. "Maya?" he called softly, lowering his hat. "Lord Almighty, what happened here?" She met his eyes, her voice steady but tired. "They came to burn my home. I warned you they'd come this way." He looked around, whistling low. "You took all of them out by yourself?" She glanced down at Duke. "Not by myself." Daniels knelt beside Colt's body, checking for a pulse, then sighed. "Colt Mercer. Been after this bastard for years. Guess you just did half my job." Maya didn't respond. Her eyes drifted toward the barn's ashes. The old wood still smoked, curling into the morning air like ghosts. Daniel stood and placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You did what you had to do, Maya. No jury in this county would call this murder. This was survival." She nodded slowly, but her heart felt heavy. "I didn't want to kill again, Sheriff. I promised myself after the Marines I'd never take another life." "Sometimes life doesn't care about our promises," he said gently. "Sometimes it gives us no choice." Duke whimpered and nudged her hand. Maya smiled faintly and scratched his ear. "He's a good boy." "Saved me again." Daniels looked at the dog, then back at her. "You both did good. But you'll need to give a statement. I'll take care of the rest." She turned back toward the horizon. The rising sun glimmered over the fields, lighting up the battered fence and broken soil. Her home was scarred, but still standing, just like her. "Sheriff," she said quietly, "make sure the others get word. No one should ever fear men like him again." He nodded firmly. "You have my word." As he walked back to his cruiser, Maya knelt in the dirt. She picked up a handful of soil and let it fall through her fingers, whispering a soft prayer for her husband, for her father, and even for the broken boy Colt once was before he became a monster. Then she stood tall, shoulders squared, eyes fierce but calm. "Come on, Duke," she murmured. "We've got rebuilding to do." They walked back toward the farmhouse bathed in morning light. The kind of light that follows darkness. The kind that promises healing. For the first time in years, Maya Brooks smiled. The soldier was finally at peace, and the farmer was ready to live again.